In 1992, Denmark wasn't supposed to be at the European Championship. They hadn't qualified and their players were already preparing for a summer of rest and relaxation. But when Yugoslavia was disqualified due to a brutal civil war, Denmark was called up at the last minute to take their place. With no time to prepare and no one expecting them to succeed, the Danes had nothing to lose. What followed was a fairy tale run that not only shocked the football world but also changed the rules of the game forever. How did a team of underdogs pull off the impossible? Well, it's time to find out. The year is 1992. Sweden are gearing up to host the prestigious European Championship tournament, where countries from all across the continent put aside their differences and come together to enjoy football together. But Europe didn't look the same back then as it does now. This big country right here in the Balkans, this is Yugoslavia. It's made up of Croats, Serbs, Slovenians, Slovakians, Albanians, and Bosnians. To say they have trouble getting along would be the understatement of the century. But despite that, the people of Yugoslavia are excited for the upcoming Euros. They finished top of their group in the qualifiers and secured a spot in the tournament. 1992 could be the year when Yugoslavia shows the world what it's made of. Hold on a second, you might be saying, what has all this got to do with Denmark? Let's jump across Europe to see our Danish friends for a second and see how they're getting on. Sadly for the Danes, they only finished second in the qualification group, just 1 point behind Yugoslavia. Well, we gave it our all, say the Danish players. When summer rolls around, they would all take their families on holiday and enjoy the sun while tuning into the football on the beach. It's a shame, but not the end of the world. Now, it's June 1992, just a few days before the start of the tournament. Let's go back to the Danes. Contrary to what some believe, they weren't on holiday just yet. Most of the players still had a game or two to play for their clubs, and the national team had one last friendly to play against the CIS before the former Soviets went off to Sweden. The Danish goalkeeper Peter Schmeichel really doesn't care that much about this last game. Neither do his teammates. For the Danes, they want to play this friendly, get it out of the way, then head out for some much-needed and Schmeichel heads into the changing room to get ready for the game, already thinking about the glorious tan he's going to get on a sunny beach somewhere fancy. In his mind, Schmeichel's already there. That's when Richard Nielsen, the manager, enters the changing room. The Danes turn around and see that the boss has a strange look of disbelief in his eyes. Boys, listen up, he says. We're off to Sweden. We're playing in the Euros. The news is an absolute bombshell. Nobody in the changing room believes him. Schmeichel is pulled out of his dreams and brought right back down to earth. What the hell has happened? Why are Denmark playing in a tournament they didn't even qualify for? Remember how I said the people of Yugoslavia don't exactly get along? Well, over the last months, they really haven't gotten along. The whole country has descended into a series of brutal civil wars with the different ethnic groups tearing each other apart and fighting for independence. Just a few days before the Euros was meant to begin, UEFA decided they couldn't let a country in such a state compete. Instead, they just tell Denmark that they've qualified. Congratulations! In a matter of seconds, the Danish team, who had been thinking about swimming pools more than a major international tournament, has gone from holiday mode to serious mode. What are they going to do? Nielsen calms everyone down, then comes up with a plan. See, back in 1992, the rules of football were a tad different. Today, if you pass back to your keeper, he can't pick it up. He has to play it out from the back with his feet. But in 1992, the keeper could pick it up from a back pass. Nielsen knows his boys aren't on the same level as the likes of the Dutch or German players, but if they form a rock-solid defensive shape and pass back to Schmeichel, they just might manage to snuff out their opponent's attack. All eyes turn to Schmeichel. Everything comes down to their keeper. He'll need to stay sharp and play perfectly throughout the tournament if they want a chance of keeping up. Well, lads, Schmeichel says, we've got nothing to lose, right? That makes us dangerous. On June 10th, 1992, the Danish national team lands in Sweden, far from ready to take part in a tournament they have no business playing in. The local Swedes welcome them with open arms. Denmark, obviously, aren't considered anywhere near favourites to win the tournament, and most people find it kind of funny that they're even in the Euros at all. As they're in Group 1, Denmark's first game comes on the second day of the tournament, right after Sweden and France open up the Euros with a 1-1 draw. Denmark play England, a team with big aspirations. Most fans figure it'll be a quick win for the English. If they'd played Yugoslavia, it might have been a challenge. But Denmark have an ace up their sleeves. That ace's name is Peter Schmeichel, the shining star the whole game plan revolves around. The English have already had a taste of the Danes' marvellous goalkeeping skills in the Premier League, as Alex Ferguson signed him up to play for Manchester United the previous year. Being a Scot, Ferguson's probably sitting at home praying that his goalkeeper can keep England out of the game. Schmeichel doesn't let either of his managers down. England come at Denmark hard, pressing high up the pitch and smothering the Danes in their own half. The English take shot after shot, passing the ball in and out of the box with ease to find the perfect angle each time. But Schmeichel is a brick wall. He makes world-class save after world-class save. A fingertip touch from a long-range strike to push the ball over the crossbar. A split-second reaction block from a volley to push the ball out. Something most keepers could never dream of. Falling to the ground just in time to catch a ball that was heading for the bottom left corner. The man could have saved the Titanic that day. Not only that, whenever the Danes sense danger, they knock it back to the keeper to take off the pressure. The English tire themselves out trying to break down Schmeichel, which gives the Danes enough space to launch their own attack. Near the end of the game, they cross the ball onto the edge of the box from the right wing. A beautiful control and through ball gives the Danish forward room for a one-on-one with the keeper. He strikes the ball low, it goes past the English keeper, it rolls and rolls, it hits the post at just the right angle. Everyone is sure he snuck it in, but sheer bad luck ruins the moment. The ball bounces off the post in an unnatural way and saves the English just at the last second. The game ends 0-0. In the Danish dressing room, you can hear a pin drop. The whole team is devastated that they didn't win the game. They felt they were stronger, more creative, and had just overall played much better than England. It's like a funeral. Hold on, you might say. Only a few days ago, these guys were ready to go on holiday. Now they're upset that they didn't beat a top European side. This first 0-0 draw really set the tone for the rest of Denmark's time in the tournament. They'd impressed the rest of the world with their grit and had made themselves into scrappy underdogs. But the game also made the Danish players think, hey, we might actually be able to win this. Their second game against Sweden played out in a similar fashion to the first, but some nasty luck goes against them. The Danes actually dominate the game and create chance after chance, but just can't seem to find the back of the net. Sweden steal the game 1-0 thanks to a brilliant run and counter-attack. One draw, one loss, one goal conceded, none scored. Schmeichel and the rest of the team are beyond disappointed. The rest of Europe has written the Danes off at this point, giving them credit for their performances, but figuring they would go out in the group stage. But there's a big silver lining. France and England had drawn right after. Denmark had 1 point, France and England had 2, and Sweden had 3. A win counted for 2 points, not 3 back then. If Denmark could beat France and Sweden could beat England, then the Danes could, in theory, make the knockout rounds, but it was a pretty massive if. June 17th, 7:15 p.m, Denmark face France. At the same time, England face Sweden. The next 90 minutes will determine everyone's fate. In the first 8 minutes, Denmark press well. The ball falls to Larsen after some awkward defending in the box from France. He catches the ball and absolutely blasts it into the back of the net. 1-0, and the Danes in the stands go wild. Their celebrations are a little muted though, as they've just heard that only 4 minutes ago, Platt has made it 1-0 to England. As it stands, Denmark will be knocked out of the tournament, despite their potential victory over the French. In the second half, Sweden managed to make it level thanks to Eriksson, which gives the Danish some hope, but it's immediately dashed away again when the French pull off a great play on the edge of the box in the 60th minute. A backheel flick to Papin, followed by a great finish, makes it 1-1. It looks like it's curtains for Denmark's run. Then a miracle happens. Denmark charge across the pitch at blistering pace down the right wing, thanks to a perfectly weighted ball into the box. Elstrup finds the right angle to slot the ball away. 2-1 to Denmark in 78th minute. On top of that, despite all the bad luck in the last 2 matches, the football gods smile on the Danes. Sweden continue their comeback. Brolin scores the winner just 4 minutes later. 2-1 to Sweden. The two sides see out the rest of the game, and once both sets of 90 minutes are up, Sweden finish top of the group with 5 points. Right behind them, Denmark with 3. France and England are knocked out in humiliating fashion with 0 wins between them. Nobody can believe it. The Danish fans cry tears of joy and pinch themselves to see if they're dreaming. The players go mental on the pitch. They've just secured a spot in the semi-finals and have taken one step closer to eternal glory. 2 more wins would see them pull off the upset of the century. Can they do it? Denmark's back-pass tactic had frustrated France and England enough to see out their games, but their knockout round opponents wouldn't be so easy to fool. The Netherlands team was kind of the exact opposite of the Danish in this tournament. While the Danes shouldn't have even been playing, the Dutch were tipped to take home the trophy. They'd won 2 games and drawn in their group, while Denmark had only just squeaked by. On top of that, they were also the reigning European champions, hoping to defend their title and ruin the underdog story of the century. The odds were stacked against Denmark just how they liked it. Denmark had developed a bit of a knack for coming at teams early. The Netherlands hadn't played against such a rigid, frustrating side, and they fall into the Danish trap right from the word go. Schmeichel and his backline soak up the pressure, then hit them on the counter. Business as usual. A frankly unreal cross from the right wing sails right into the Dutch box. Larsen, who for some reason has been left completely unmarked, heads the ball cleanly into the back of the net. 1-0 to Denmark in just 5 minutes. The Dutch team put their hands on their hips. They hadn't expected such defensive solidity and quick thinking from the Danes. But like I said, these players were a step up from the group stage opponents. Their underdog opposition had shown some flair, but they still have an ace up their sleeves. And the magician pulling that card, Dennis Bergkamp. This midfield maestro, set to become a legend of the Premier League in 10 years' time, shows the world what he's made of. He strikes the ball on the edge of the box from a volley, sending it crashing into the back of the net. Not even Schmeichel can stop this rocket. 1-1, 23 minutes in. But Larsen doesn't want to be outdone. Only 10 minutes later, he finds himself in the box. The Dutch backline makes a bad clearance. He rocks up, boots the ball so hard it almost bursts, and sends it right past the Dutch keeper. 2-1. What a game this is. Joy followed by heartbreak, followed by joy again for the Danish fans in the crowd. The second half is less eventful, but just as nervy. By the 86th minute, it looks like Denmark are about to head to the final, but Rijkaard spoils the party by scoring from a very scrappy corner. Back to heartbreak for the Danes, but the game isn't over yet. Extra time. The Netherlands have the wind in their sails. They have strong attacking prowess up front and are on paper the better side. But the Danes fall back on their defensive solidity and tight back passes. No matter how hard they try, the Dutch can't break through. The 30 minutes of extra time finish up. Penalties will decide who goes through. Can Schmeichel drag them over the finish line? The Pens start off as everyone expects. Koeman scores for the Netherlands, while Larsen puts his away for Denmark. Next up is Van Basten, arguably the very best player in the world at this time. The Dutch yawn. This guy could score from Mars. A penalty kick is a walk in the park for him. Van Basten runs up and hits the ball. Schmeichel reads his mind like a book. He dives the right way and saves it like it's nothing. The Dutch fans' jaws drop. The Danes go mad. Advantage Denmark. The rest of the pens are well taken by the Netherlands, but the Danes don't blink. Christopher sends the Dutch keeper the wrong way and seals the deal. Believe it or not, and many don't, Denmark are in the final. Their opponents? Germany, who beat the hosts 3-2 in the semis. Germany are a tried and true powerhouse on the international stage. They'd won the Euros twice already, the World Cup thrice, and were even the current world champions going into the final. Apart from a handful of silver and bronze medals at the Olympics, Denmark had never won anything. Surely, think fans across Europe, surely this will be the end for them. Maybe Germany thought they'd be facing the Netherlands. Maybe they just had an off day. Either way, they clearly didn't do their homework. The Danes' game plan is dead simple. Play it cool, compact and professional. Frustrate the opposition as much as possible by playing it tight. When in doubt, pass it back to the keeper. The Germans just can't wrap their heads around this tactic. They press and press, looking for any way to put pressure on the Danish defence and cause it to crumble. But all they end up doing is angering themselves, racking up yellow card after yellow card. To be fair, the Danes are cheating. How are the Germans meant to score with a literal brick wall in goal? Schmeichel plays the game of his life, blocking shot after shot after shot, staying cool as ice and composed when picking up the ball, never once breaking concentration. The Germans throw everything they had at the wall, but nothing sticks. The Danes, on the other hand, have much better luck. The 18th minute, Jensen runs up to strike the ball on the edge of the box from a little layoff from Povelsen. The man catches it beautifully and turns it into an absolute screamer. It flies like a bullet and nearly tore the back of the net apart. 1-0 to Denmark. This goal makes the whole continent roar with delight. The underdogs take the lead in the most dramatic of fashions, but they don't lose their heads. They stuck to the game plan. Against world champions, a 1-0 lead is nothing. By the 78th minute, Germany really start to tire. Like a lion waiting in the tall grass for the perfect moment to pounce on its prey, the Danes strike. A forward header from midfield lands at Vilfort's feet. He's alone, and the German defence closes in on him outside the box. He runs forward but quickly runs out of space. All he really has to do is keep possession for as long as possible to see out the game. Then Vilfort does something incredible. One touch to bring it back to his left, takes out one defender, a second strikes the ball, another defender goes to ground to try and block the shot. It rolls past him, the keeper dives, but it's just out of reach. The ball hits the post, then bounces over the line. "Oh, it's in," screams the English announcer. The crowd loses its mind. The German keeper looks back at his goal in disbelief. Vilfort's goal seals the deal for good. Denmark have done more than win a game. They've won the hearts of the entire world. They've pulled off a feat nobody dared dream possible. Somehow, despite not even qualifying for the tournament, they've just won the 1992 European Championship. But the full-time whistle blows. The Germans are devastated, but they applaud their opponents. The Danes outclass them fair and square. The Danish dream has come true, a fairy tale for the ages, but the victory leaves a deeper impact still. After this tournament, UEFA actually changed the books and banned the back pass, making it the same rules we play with today. Not that Denmark care. Victory tastes sweet no matter how you pull it off. It's even sweeter though when you win against the odds. If you want to follow the story of the player everyone doubted and he proved them wrong, check out our video here.